Okay, I'm going to teach you guys pendulums. I just want to preface this and say this information has really changed my entire life. I feel like I say that in all my videos, but this is next level stuff because we're going into esoteric teachings now. I had to get this right because there was no way I could pass this information on and it not have the same effect that it had on me to my people that need to hear it. Okay? So I pray, God, let me channel this correctly, let me channel this powerfully, let me channel this helpfully, so that somebody else can reap the benefits from this information the same way that I did. Let's start. A pendulum. This idea, this word, I never heard of it before. And I came across a video, and then I came across a book, then I came across an understanding that my whole life, all of our lives, are ran by pendulums. So I'm going to give you a definition, and then I'm going to backtrack and explain it in a very simplistic way. A pendulum, I'm just going to read it. Any structure whose particular features were created by collective thought energy. Okay? Just sitting with that for a minute. Because that sounds very wacky, but really what it is the thoughts that you have in your mind are not coming from you. You are not creating these thoughts. These thoughts are part of the collective. They're part of the experience that you're having. They're part of what human life is. And every single thought that you can have and that others can have, its source is a pendulum. Its source is a creative thought structure that is keeping you in resonance with whatever is equivalent to that thought structure. What really stuck out to me is when you realize that your will is determined by which pendulum you are feeding your energy to. Pendulums are not able to survive without energy. This is very basic example for you. Blockbuster, AOL, these once creative forces and experience that were fed with energy to keep alive no longer receive the energy and are no longer alive anymore. They die off. This is exactly what happens with a pendulum and a thought form when you no longer feed it your energy. If you have both good thoughts and both negative thoughts, they're most likely negative. Usually they're negative. Whichever ones you are feeding is what is going to create your experiences over and over again. Pendulums are more powerful than you think. Even if you can't see them, you obviously experience them. When you feed a pendulum that's a negative, destructive pendulum, you are sourcing that to keep it alive. You have to. Even if you hate it. And this is especially true if you hate it. If there is a destructive pendulum in your experience, even in the physical realm, even in the metaphysical realm, but let's say even in the physical realm, and you go and try to stop it, you judge it, you yell at it, you try to change it, you are sourcing it with your energy and it could stay alive. And it will stay alive and it will most likely continue to create experiences equivalent to that in your life. Just by the nature of how pendulums work. They work by feeding off energy. They feed off your energy. Just like in Demon Slayer, the demons need human beings to stay alive. So they eat as much humans as they can. Pendulums can only stay alive when they eat as much emotional turmoil as you can. So if you have a destructive pendulum in your thinking, in your experience, and you fight it, and you cause battle with it, This is the worst thing you can do, and it's never going to pass, and you're never going to be able to release that experience, and you're never going to be able to change your experiences because you are still putting your energy towards something that you quote unquote don't want, but really do, because that's where you're putting your energy, and it doesn't matter if it's the one side of good and one side bad. It's the same thing. Healthy, not healthy, pendulum. Sugar, no sugar, pendulum. Sorry, I've given you food examples. Consumption, non-consumption, pendulum. Fighting, don't want the fight, pendulum. Health and wellness, not taking care of yourself, pendulum. I don't care what you do. The pendulum doesn't care what you do. It's just, where are you feeding your energy? If you're eating healthy, but then you're cursing at everybody that eats at McDonald's, you're feeding McDonald's. That's what you're eating for breakfast, not your egg whites, okay? This is how it works. We're energetic beings. I'm tired of the bullshit, people not understanding that we are full energetic beings. The whole thing is energy. The entire experience is energy. Every single communication, every single thing that you do, it's an energetic expression. And now, when we come to terms with that, we could begin to make conscious choice about where we feed our energy. Again, by feeding it energy, you are sourcing it. You have to be willing to not source certain things in order to choose which things you do want to source. Pendulums are not personal. They don't give a fuck about... I'm not cursing right now. Pendulums they don't care about what you want. They just care about survival. When you watch somebody under a pendulum spell, they just cannot even dictate what they do. It's just they're in this behavior warp, and it's just... And so, if pendulums are not personal, and if you are no longer feeding destructive pendulums, because that's what this video is going to bring to your awareness, is the recognition that you must stop feeding the things that you don't want or say you don't want energy. If you want to be rich, but you hate your current experience, you're keeping that experience because you're feeding it energy. Everything is feeding energy, okay? I'm feeding this energy because this is my passion and this is what I love to do. This is a great pendulum. Is it personal for me? No, it's a pendulum. Making YouTube content, I don't know why I'm doing the cross, but this action that I'm experiencing right now, this is a pendulum, okay? It's not personal to Maureen or who I am. It doesn't care. But as long as I'm feeding it, I'm sourcing this energy to it, it's gonna stay alive. Another example, if you go to a gym, ready? If you go to a gym, and if there was nobody working out at that gym anymore, that gym would die off because there's no one sourcing the energy. If you go to that gym and you are in this certain pendulum, that gym has a certain pendulum. Every pendulum, every structure, everything that I'm speaking on has a certain frequency and beat to it. If you go to that gym and the pendulum that's currently happening, the energy from the pendulum will either attack you or will try to get you out because you're no longer at the same frequency as it. If you go to a gym and everybody's working out, let's say you just go in the middle of the gym and start painting your nails or howling like a wolf. You are going against the grain of the pendulum, and you are going to feel the energetic force from the people around, from the pendulum itself, wanting you out. This is everywhere. This is everywhere. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Everywhere you go, there's a certain wave and frequency to that place. When you no longer beat at that same frequency, you no longer are sourcing that thing, and that thing can no longer have a hold on you anymore, and you have your will back. If you're not conscious of this, your will is taken away by this thought form, by this pendulum. So now that we understand basically what a pendulum is, I want to give you your 2 ways on how you go about it. You either defeat it or you stop its sway. And then the third way is a little bit further down the line that we're going to get into on when it's something that you need to step into in order to get your needs met and whatnot. So what we have already established is that if we are feeding our energy to whatever it is, both sides, we are creating that experience. When we decide what we don't want anymore and we stop feeding our energy to it and we start to source the things that we do, we're choosing the things that we want to create for ourselves. We're choosing the pendulums. These pendulums, again, don't take us personal. They don't care. They just care about survival. So what we have to do is we have to choose we have to choose personal pendulums that fit what we're trying to create and get on them and allow for them to create through us. They want to stay alive regardless, so we want to make sure we're choosing the ones that we reap benefits from as well. They don't care if we reap the benefits. They just want to stay alive. But if we reap the benefits, then we are getting what we want. And honestly, like, this kind of thing, I don't care what people say when they tell you spirituality is not about getting what you want. That's not true. Because when you come to know yourself, what you want for yourself is also the highest thing that you could bring for the world. So if you are choosing pendulums that are going to fulfill that, you are making the decision to put yourself in these situations and choose yourself. And that's fine. Again, this is not about what's good and what's wrong. It's about what you need to do in order to get forwards in your life and not be creating destruction in the world, because destruction could stay here and you could be living up here, and this is a completely different reality than this. And this reality is what will inspire this to change and evolve. But you're not going to go into it and try to change it and evolve it. That doesn't work. You have to be here and then, okay? So to defeat a pendulum, you don't feed it energy anymore. We pretty much explained this already. You don't feed it energy anymore. And you don't fight it. You don't avoid it, but you ignore it. You ignore it. You don't avoid it. You ignore it. This is a completely different energy. Avoiding is you're trying to get rid of it. Ignoring it is you're indifferent to it. Very key when you're trying to defeat a pendulum. Because the pendulum is going to come in. You're going to have the thought, keep going, consume this, take this in, watch this, and if you try to not and try to stop, it's going to keep going. If you ignore it and you're indifferent to it, it's right to exist, it's allowed to exist, and it's allowed to be left behind. It will leave. It will naturally leave, and it will go into somebody else that can fuel it with energy, because if you're not fueling it with energy, it's dangerous for it. This is what they say. It's dangerous for it to stay with you because it's not going to survive with you. Because you're so indifferent to that force, it can't get energy from you, so it's going to move forwards. It's not going to keep on trying to stay around. So that's how you defeat it, okay? Now, if a pendulum comes into your experience and you do not want to fight it, because obviously you're going to create more of that, you understand what it is, you have to stop its sway. And you do this by stepping into a higher frequency that's not a match for that pendulum. Stopping its sway kind of has this airy-fairy feeling to it that I can't really get logically across that well yet. But to me, stopping its sway is just stepping into a different frequency that it's not usually met with in order to rock the energy of the pendulum so that you can be okay, so you don't get trapped. Let's say, for example, there's a fist fight happening and they want to attack you. If you go into the mode of victim or fearful or playing let's fight, this is exactly what the pendulum needs to survive, so it's looking for its match. But if you don't match it and you go into a higher realm of frequency using your visualization skills, whatever it is, you're stepping outside of the box of the standard norm and entering a new space where you can enter this pendulum space and it will rock the pendulum. And again, if it doesn't get sourced from you, it can't stay with you. I don't know how you're going to handle that situation if somebody's going to attack you. I don't know. But what I do know is that if you go into the script, you are keeping this alive within you, and you could end up being killed. You could end up being hurt. This is a safer way of going about it, is by stepping outside of the box, is by entering a new level of frequency that isn't a match for that anymore, so that you can move forwards and get out of the situation alive, you know? This is called not dying in the 3D. We are very, very esoteric these days now, guys. At least I am. I know I was bumping the science and the nervous system stuff, but I think that was just one step I had to take in order to get here. And now that I'm here to share you the juice, because the juice is where the juice is at. Okay, now, that's stopping its sway. That's defeating it. These are the two ways. We don't want to stay on this level of reality anymore. We want to move into conscious choosing, where we are feeding our energy so we could consciously choose the life that we want to create for ourselves. When you need to get your needs met, let's say you're at work, but you don't want to feed that pendulum to the point where you are in a destructive environment, but you're still getting your needs met there, you still need the money. What you want to do, this is from the book, is you want to rent yourself out. Rent yourself out. Oh, I'm renting myself out in this moment. I'm conscious that I'm doing it. I'm putting myself in this pendulum. Because in this moment, I need this to help me, right? So you're aware of this. You're aware of this. You're not hating yourself for having to go into the pendulum that you don't like because it helps you. No, you're aware that you need this. And so you're taking the step forward and saying, I'm consciously going to rent myself out to this experience and pendulum in order to get what I need. And this works. I mean, I had this experience even yesterday. I really had to step into a familial pendulum that I don't always like to step into, but I wanted to see my niece, and so I stepped into it, and I was totally fine. I was aware. I knew what was happening. I just stayed in my energy, and that was okay, and it's fine, and it passes. Again, pendulums pass. When situations are happening and you want so badly to change it and rip it apart, stop yourself, please. Please stop yourself. And remember the truth. This won't last. This is gonna change. When the wave of dysfunction and chaos comes into your experience, and you know that if you feed it, you are just losing so much energy right there and there. You have learned from the past how many times you have fed into the chaos and you have broken yourself because of it. You have lost so much healing energy because of it that you have to use for your own potential in life and for others that really do need the healing. You don't feed that, okay? You are indifferent to it. Why? Because you understand what it is. It's a pendulum. They're under a spell of the pendulum, and if you want to keep that pendulum alive, go ahead and feed it. But at the same time, it's going to pass, and then you're fine. You're back to normal, and oh, there's peace again. Hey. But now if there's peace again and then your mind's still going, were you really indifferent? No. So even when the mind is going, these are the moments we have to catch ourselves and say, oh, there it is. Okay, I'm feeding it. Yeah. Okay. When you no longer have any pendulums in your experience and the thoughts completely shut off and your mind goes blank and you basically end up in a vacuum, okay? I've been here. It's kind of scary. You're living now. Once you leave this level of reality, you're in the pendulums, the level, the chaos, the back and forth, the dramas, all of this, the stress, the survival, all of this is here. And you enter here, life is very slow. Okay, there's not much happening. You don't have much things going on. You're very chill. You're very at peace. You don't really know what to do next. You're kind of like, God, what's next? Okay, I'll do that. It's fine. There's nothing else to do. But you could get to a point where you're blank completely and you're like in a vacuum. And you sit there and you're just like, well, there's nothing here. I guess I'm awake to the Godhead, right? There's nothing here. Because you're no longer at the human, mental level of creativity. You're like here now and there's no pendulums up here. They can't survive up here. They're like, they might come up and then it just passes really quickly because you're such in a high state of consciousness that it's basically blank. And then you're there. and you're kind of just like, okay, well, that was it. So now what's the point? You know, do I even want to pursue this anymore? Whatever. This could be dangerous, okay? This could be very dangerous because you get to a point where it's like, hey. And if you're at that point and you don't know what you want and you don't know what to pursue, this could be very crippling to your health and your sense of self. And I don't really recommend you pursue this unless you are doing what I'm talking about, and then you kind of have an understanding of what's occurring. So basically you're in the empty state, it's very chill, it's very calm, it's okay. But what happens is, if there's no goals for the human to move forward in, you're not watching anything, you're not really putting your attention on much, it's kind of like, it's really boring, it's just like, okay, there's no point, whatever. This is the moment where you want to make sure that you know what you want for your life. You know what you're pursuing, if you're pursuing money, if you're pursuing healing, if you're pursuing whatever. And you begin to consciously choose your personal pendulums, which is so liberating and amazing, because you need pendulums no matter what if you are going to be a human being, right? Because this is the thing, the creative source. So now you get to choose your personal pendulums, the ones that will get you to your goal. And usually you know which ones is the right path for you because they bring you so much happiness and joy. And when you are in that state of happiness and joy, you're like, yes, I found it. I got on the path of which pendulum I need to take. And then you just take the steps forwards. You know where to put your energy on and you move in that direction and you keep on creating into the sourcing of that. You're sourcing that now. And there you go. You figured out how to create your dream reality. Wow, yeah. It's like I went through all the freaking awakening stages of spirituality to get to this point now where it's just like my understanding of this is so different compared to me even a couple months ago. A couple of months ago, I was still in the shadow. I was still in this 4D realm trying to heal my traumas nonstop. Even a couple of weeks ago, I was in this 4D realm. It was like dwindling off, but it was holding on. The 4D realm is like always trying to heal your trauma, your emotional trauma, blah, blah, blah. This is a pendulum, a very, very huge, sick pendulum that I really have a lot of issues with now because this is a part of a phase, but they will keep you there. The pendulum will keep you there, and the people that are wrapped in that pendulum will keep you there purposely. Just so you guys know, because I care about you, watch out for healers and stuff that bring out horrible things in you. They're not bringing it out, but they saying, oh, this is going to do this to you, whatever, and bring up stuff. This is keeping you in the cycle of the 4D. 4D is like building trauma, and I didn't read anything on this. I just watched a couple of videos in my past, so I kind of understood the stages of consciousness and spiritual development, and the 4D realm is like the psychology realm, the healing, the trauma. This is important. You have to go through that. Did I go through this? Absolutely. Did it rip me apart to shreds a lot? Yes. Abso-fucking-lutely. Pain. Okay? And so if we get stuck in the 4D, we can't enter the 5D where we're consciously choosing the life that we want to create. We have to move from the 4D. We have to release the emotions. We have to release the pains, the crying, the screaming, the rage, going through all that. But if you get stuck there, good luck. Good luck, because that's a life of suffering. That's a lot of fucking suffering that I don't wish on anybody, because you don't need to be that way. You can transcend that. And I'm not bypassing it. Just want to make that clear, because a girl sat in the freaking shadows. I've done some crazy, crazy stuff with my shadow, okay? To integrate my shadow. And I might in the future too. I might have to do more work in the 4D. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that you could come to a stage of reality where you see that as a pendulum that you don't want to source anymore, and you want to source the ones that are moving you forward. If you need to source that in order to move forward, that might be how you have to do, but know what you're doing. Does this make sense? Know that you're consciously making these decisions to do that. Okay? I really, really want this to be a very clear video on pendulums, and I hope that it was, because if I didn't relay this message, I will be upset. Not because I'm mad at myself, but because I know I can offer something so great to people that if they can't hear it, it would make me feel like, okay, I need help with my teaching skills, because I really want to show y'all how good it can get. And I want to show you that by you showing yourself how good it can get. Because that's the only way you'll believe when you start to see it, when you start to live it. That's the only, you'll see me, I'll be thriving, right? I'll have the monies, I'll have the things, I'm going on a vacation for a month, I don't know what's going to come out of that. But when you are walking that, then you get it, then it clicks. And that's why I offer the information. That's why I want to be a good teacher. And that's why I want to reveal this information to you in a way that hits and lands and sounds like it can actually transform you, instead of just being a misinformation that comes and goes. Because this is the thing with the internet. There might be a lot of fake news and there might be a lot of information. But if you're anything like me, on the divine path, caring about God, literally, God is my life. I sound like a little evangelical, but I'm not trying to. It's more so like, God, I love you. This kind of energy. God, show me the way. God, bring me the people. God, put the people, put the videos, put the information in my face that I need. And you get it. And so that's the only reason why I share that. Because if this video comes into your experience, I'm like, come on. When videos come into my experience, I'm like, ding, ding, knew it, got it, thank you, hear it, land it. And so I believe that that's what I do. And that's why I care about this page so much. So I appreciate y'all. And I really, really, just checking my notes to make sure I was able to grasp everything that we needed to hear. Close off with a few main points that we need to remember. They feed off your energy. You are sourcing their energy on both sides, good and bad. You're sourcing it. The two ways is defeating it and stopping its sway, and then renting yourself. And the third way is when the space is empty and there's no more pendulums happening, then you begin to choose the personal pendulums that will bring you to your goal, that will bring you to your future. And you know that when they bring you joy and happiness, those are the pendulums that you want it, you're going to get, you're going to reap benefits from. They're not just going to drain you and suck you out like junk food or ultra-processed food. That's a pendulum that's going to suck you dry, or a bar fight that's going to suck you dry. But let's say a conscious healer on the internet who offers information that really transforms your life. Wait, did I just talk about myself? No, I'm kidding. That's going to empower you, as well as you're sourcing it with energy. It's taking energy from you and you're sourcing it with energy, but at the same time, you're reaping benefits from it, and it's bringing you closer to where you want to go, and that's very important. Okay, you guys, I'm glad that we came together tonight and I was able to share this with you. I hope you have a great night, a great New Year's Eve. If I don't make any content before that, great New Year's, and I'll talk to you soon, okay? Comment below. I want to see you. Have a good day.